They gathered on a sunlit morning to remember the darkest night of their lives. It's been 44 years, 3 months and 4 days since 2 bombs robbed these families of their loved ones. Today they met at the memorial to them in Birmingham city centre to share their grief, their memories and their hope that today would be the start of a process of healing, of closure and of truth.
It is about time that their lives, their names and their memories are finally, once and for all, known and remembered.
At 8:11 p.m. on Thursday the 21st of November 1974, an anonymous phone call was made to a Birmingham newspaper warning of 2 bombs planted in the city centre. It was the last payday before Christmas and everywhere was packed. At 8:17 p.m. the first bomb exploded in the Mulberry Bush pub at the foot of the Rotunda building. 10 people died, including 2 teenage friends who were walking past at the time. At 8:27 p.m. the second bomb went off. It was in the Tavern in the Town pub underneath New Street. It claimed 11 lives. Between them, the blasts killed 19 people instantly and another 2 in the weeks that followed. More than 200 others were injured. Inquests into the deaths of the 21 victims were opened in 1974 but were adjourned in early 75 because 6 men had been arrested for allegedly planting the bombs and were about to stand trial. Those men, who became known as the Birmingham Six, were all convicted of the murders and jailed for life. But in 1991, following fresh evidence and 3 appeals against their convictions, all 6 were released as innocent men. The inquests were never reopened, but after a long campaign by some of the victims' families, it was finally agreed that they should be resumed. The coroner for the hearings is Sir Peter Thornton QC. He must determine when, where and under what circumstances each of the victims met their death, but for these inquests he will pass that responsibility to a jury. In this courtroom they'll hear evidence in person from professionals and ordinary people who were there on that night, and study thousands of pages of documents, plans and photographs related to the bombings. They'll also hear evidence about forewarning and will consider whether West Midlands Police or any other state agency had prior knowledge that a bomb attack would take place in Birmingham on or around the 21st of November 1974, and whether further steps could or should have been taken to prevent the bombings. The jury will be asked to reach a conclusion as to the death of each victim, but they're not allowed to apportion blame or civil or criminal liability in relation to any of them. These inquests are being held under Article 2 of the European Convention on Human Rights, which means that the victims' families will have their own lawyers acting independently on their behalf. West Midlands Police and the UK Government will also have lawyers of their own. Everyone will effectively be asked to transport themselves back to the events of November 1974. There may well be tears, argument and frustration, but after almost 45 years, for the 21 people who went out one night and never came home, there will be answers. Andy Bevan, ITV.